Mike Lawson, welcome to the show, my friend.
TJ, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out because I don't get a lot of cops on here, which I want to have more cops on here, but it's like pulling teeth getting cops to talk about stuff. So I appreciate you coming on because you have it's a great story for cops to hear, especially. But real quick background: 23 years with Wilmington, Delaware Police Department. Spent your time on patrol, but you spent 13 years as a detective.
Right. Yep.
13. One of the things we're going to talk about today is in 97, you were involved in I guess it was really active shooter at the Amtrak Utility Center. Is that what it was?
Yeah, the Amtrak maintenance facility.
Maintenance facility.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So, which is, I never knew about it. I never heard of it, but it was also in 97. So I was in high school. So,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically an active shooter before we had active shooters, really.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into that. But before we get into that, where are you from? How'd you grow up?
So I'm a local Delaware resident.
Okay.
I was born in a small town called Ellesmere.
Okay. Yeah. Right outside Wilmington there.
Yeah, it's really a kind of a blue collar kind of town.
Yeah.
Small town. Everyone knows everyone in Ellesmere, just like everyone knows everyone in Delaware.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of grew up there. My father worked at the General Motors plant. My mom was a bookkeeper, in Wilmington for a small little company that did HVAC.
Yeah.
And kind of grew up there until maybe I was like maybe 9 or 10, and then we moved. We got out of Ellesmere. We moved over to Valone Village,
Okay.
which is a little bit more upper scale for us.
Yeah.
Because we're just living in a townhome now. We moved into a single family home. Actually, it was like one of the older original farmhouses over in the Ellesmere Valone Village area. It had a barn, had a chicken coop.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to
Yeah.
grow up there.
Brothers and sisters?
Yep, got two sisters, one older, one younger.
Okay.
But we moved over there to Valone Village, and that's where I spent my rest of my childhood.
Yeah.
Went to Catholic school, Corpus Christi, which wasn't too far from our house. Went to a local high school, Salesianum Sally's.
Oh, okay.
Graduated from there, and then after that, actually during my time at Sally's, they had what they call Career Week.
Yeah.
So 1 week during the your junior and senior year, you get to go out into like the profession that you want to go into as far as your career.
Yeah.
And you go with that profession for a week.
Okay.
I think my junior year, the first time I did was like I was thinking about being a attorney.
Yeah.
So I went out with the local attorneys. Really didn't find that too fascinating, even though I was very interested in law. But then I kept hearing these guys say, "Hey, you got to go on the ride along, for the week, with the Wilmington Police. It's really cool."
What year was this?
This is probably 85, 86.
Okay.
Yeah. Graduated high school in 86. So around that time, we did the career week, and I rode with the Wilmington Police for a whole week.
Oh, wow.
And
That had to be eye-opening as
it was.
a teenager,
It was.
especially like in the 80s.
So you go there, and there's maybe like a dozen of us, high
Yeah.
school kids. And they kind of tell you the rules,
Yeah.
stay in the car if we tell you to stay in the car, don't get out of the car, blah, blah, blah. Don't do anything stupid. All right. Me not knowing that anything was going to happen, like one of those days, we ended up going to a house where it was a check on the welfare.
Yeah.
And the two officers who we were with were from the evidence detection unit. And they're like, "Look, we're going to need you to help us because we can't get into this house. There's like a small window." So they made me climb through the window,
Oh, no shit.
open the door. And as soon as we opened the window, you could smell the stench.
Yeah.
And it was a dead person in there.
And they had you go through the window.
They had me go through the window and unlock the door.
Oh my God. Right? Could you imagine that nowadays?
No,
Oh, man.
it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen.
That's wild.
But they were great. I mean, it's just one of those things.
When you went in, did you discover the body first?
No, it was kind of in the back room,
Okay.
but you could smell the stench, and I was like, "Oh
Dude,
my
that
God!"
had to be eye-opening. Wild.
It
wild.
was, yeah. I had never smelled a dead body.
Yeah.
That was my first
That's
time.
something you don't forget.
No,
Yeah.
never. So that was a cool story to bring back. And then, like another day, maybe the last day, we got into like a vehicle pursuit.
Yeah.
I'm in the back car. And back then,
Were they riding doubles?
Yeah, they're
so
riding
you're
doubles.
in the back, yeah.
And these guys are going code red and just going through the city. And I was like, man, this is something I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool. So that's what kind of got me fascinated.
Yeah.
I was also a volunteer fireman.
Okay.
For about 10 years in Ellesmere. Started like as a youth, just like maybe like 16, 17 years old, as a youth firefighter, and then just kind of did that for a while. And but I was always fascinated as far as being in law enforcement.
Yeah.
I had no other family members that were in law enforcement, so I'm really a first generation law enforcement officer. I had 3 boys, and none of them want to do law enforcement, and we can talk about that later. But I'm so happy that they don't today, because my whole perspective now as far as everything with law enforcement is so 180. I missed the job, but I would not want to go back and do it today.
Yeah.
Just because of all the BS that's going on.
I'm with you.
Everyone has a camera and they want to get their 2 minutes of fame.
Yep.
Whether you're right or wrong.
Yep.
It's just crazy. So I actually applied for the state police.
Okay.
I wanted to be a trooper. So I did the Trooper Youth Week. You go down there and stay at the barracks for a week. When I was a senior in high school during the summer. I think Pat Ogden was in my class at that time. Yeah. So it's some time ago, and a few other people, but did that, and I was really wanted or kind of encouraged to try to just state police. So I went to Del Tech because my parents had gotten divorced when I was in high school, living with my mom and my 2 sisters, and couldn't afford University of Delaware, any other colleges. So I went to Del Tech. Yeah, very affordable. And went there for a full year, and then about a year and a half or so, I started kind of looking for opportunities as far as police, and I saw state police were hiring. So I filled an application, sent it in. 2 months later, I hear back, and I had sent it in when I was 20 years old. Yeah. So they returned it and said, "Sorry, you're too young."
Oh yeah.
You're not 21 yet. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, but if I go to the academy, once the academy's
you'll be 21.
I'll be 21. Yeah. So that didn't work out, and the girl that I was dating at the time, who was now my wife, she said, "Hey, Wilmington's hiring. Why don't you apply for Wilmington?" And I was like, "Yeah, Wilmington, is really, a lot of crime going on in Wilmington. Yeah, that's where you really learn quickly." I said, "Maybe I'll do it." Yeah. So I filled out an application, went through the whole process, didn't get picked. And I'm still at 20 years old. Yeah. I had just turned 21 in January, and they started the academy on January 9th.
Oh, all right.
So I actually got the phone call, "Hey, I'm sorry, you didn't get picked." I said, "No problem." I said, "What do I have to do to, enhance my opportunities later on, next time?" And they said, "Nothing. It just comes down to numbers." Yeah. And back there, we had a lot of affirmative action. Yeah. Where they had to take a select few from, minorities, women, and I just fell into the category where they had too many, white males. Yep. Whether you like it or not, that's the way it was. Yep. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I'll try again later on. The academy starts, and I don't think anything about it, and then on the 13th of January, it was actually Friday the 13th, they called me up and they said, "Hey, we have an additional spot that we're starting in the academy. Someone just retired. So we're going to add another body. Can you come in?"
So they were only like a weekend in the academy or something?
They're a whole weekend. They started on the 9th. It's Friday the 13th. So they started on Monday, now it's Friday. So I'm like, yeah. So I told my employer I was actually working at a bank. I told the employer, I said, "Look, this is my opportunity." They're like, "Yep, go ahead. We understand." So I went Friday, stopped at the academy. They gave me a list as far as everything I need. Yeah. That weekend I spent, time just getting, the clothing and, new sneakers, which was the wrong thing to do. And started on Monday. Yeah. And that Monday, I'm standing in line, with these people I don't even know. And we run like, 4.5 miles that day. Yeah. I wasn't ready for this, you know.
You weren't like, you didn't work out regularly or anything like leading up to that or anything?
Well, I was in pretty good shape. Yeah. But back then, I was kind of like, I didn't make it. I'm not going to
keeping up on it or
keep
anything.
Up. And I didn't know that I was going to start the academy to prepare and get ready for running, because I knew that the police academy, you're going to run a lot.
Yeah.
If I had known, I would have been running, but at the time I wasn't. So the first day we ran like 4.5 miles.
Yeah.
I had blisters, on both feet.
Yeah.
The inside of my legs were all chafed. And then you learn later on, put some Vaseline, between your legs and even on your nipples. They'll bleed.
Yep.
Just those little things that you don't learn until you get through it.
Yep.
But our academy class, I think we had 34, 35 people.
Oh, wow.
Lost a few. So yeah, I did that, and the academy, I guess, was 21 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So graduated, I think it was in May, and then just started FTO. With a real good partner, Billy Wells. Billy taught me a lot.
What year was this that you came on?
So I started the academy January of '89.
Okay.
Yeah, and then graduated in May of 90.
Yeah.
Or no, May of '89 as well. Yeah, I'm sorry. And then just hit the street. Just regular patrol. Learned a lot.
To jump ahead, what year was it you retired?
2012.
That's
23 years.
Yeah. So there's a drastic change in law enforcement in that time period.
Yeah, we had revolvers back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I was issued a .38 caliber revolver, Smith & Wesson.
You went through that's a big transition in law enforcement.
Yeah.
Man, what's the I don't know, what would be the biggest thing that's changed over those years that you were there? That's the most surprising or stands out, you think?
It's got to be the technology.
Yeah.
With the body cams.
Body cams,
number one. Also, just with the computer technology.
Oh yeah.
With the DNA capabilities, CODIS, even IBIS with the ballistics. So that all kind of transformed when I was there. The body worn cameras. I never wore a body worn camera. But I'm actually helped write our policy for Wilmington because I was involved with the FOP.
Yeah.
And the city, when they came down with the policy, they just kind of threw it at the FOP and said, "Here it is."
Yeah.
And we said, "Time out. We have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
What did you, or where did you get your policy from? Did you copy it from a different department, the Chiefs of Police Association, the Chiefs of Police Council here in Delaware? Where did you get it from?" And they're like, "Well, we came up from, Michigan or somewhere."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, there's things that we need to change in here." So
right.
Myself and another FOP member, we took the initiative to write the policy for us, for the FOP, and then we had our attorney involved, and we presented back to the city and said, "Here it is." The city's viewpoint was, "Well, we're writing the policy, you have nothing to say."
Yeah.
And we said, "No, this has to do with our livelihood."
Right.
So anything that we're doing in our livelihood is contractual.
Yeah.
So we need to sit down and we went to court for it and we won. So the city finally sat down with us.
Yeah.
And we agreed upon different terms, and now that's the policy that we have. So
did you guys have, back then when you came on, did you guys have in-car cameras yet?
No.
I don't think Wilmington ever did. They never had them, did they?
There was a small period of time when we had cameras.
Yeah.
And then I think they're smart to say, I don't think this is going to work out for us.
It's not a good idea after all.
No, especially when you're, getting into pursuits every day. And I mean, sometimes you have to do stuff that's, not the correct or political way to do things.
That's law enforcement, man. People don't understand
that's law enforcement, yeah. It's really a lot of quick thinking.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is not even thinking, just reacting.
Yep.
You depend on your training.
Yep.
You depend on, things that you've been involved with. And with the city, you learn so much so quickly.
Yeah.
I probably, was at my first homicide scene within, the first 2 months of being on the job.
Yeah.
How many state troopers, how many even county cops or even smaller, jurisdictions, experience that.
Yeah.
So it's just,
city policing is totally different.
Oh, it's totally different. Yeah.
It's a drastic difference from, something like, working highways or even like smaller towns. Like a city atmosphere as a cop is a totally different animal.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started with the 38s. We were issued a nightstick.
Yeah.
Which you had to use once in a while.
Yeah.
Especially walking the beat, because when you're off of FTO, they put you by yourself. And you take turns depending on how many people are on your platoon, as far as who's going to be the mall guy.
Yeah.
we have Market Street Mall, and on the midnight shift, you would walk that mall until 7, 8 a.m. in the morning, starting, either 11 o'clock or midnight. You learn that whole mall just by walking up and down. And you learned how to use your nightstick to tap on doors, tap on windows, wake people up, who were sleeping vagrants. We didn't have a lot of homeless people back then. It seems like it just kind of, got more and more throughout the years. But you would run into them once in a while. And those people really, you kind of, learn who they are.
Yeah.
And as long as you respect them, like I'd buy someone a cup of coffee, I'd give them a couple $.
Yeah.
And then if I'd see them on the street, later on, I'd say, hey, remember me? I gave you, a cup of coffee or bought you a sandwich. Oh, yeah. And they would speak to you.
Yeah, you build that rapport with them.
And you get a lot of information because they see everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they only, stay at a certain area.
Yeah.
They're not going too far as, maybe within a quarter of a mile of where they're staying at.
Yeah.
And I learned throughout the years, especially in detectives, that if you had that relationship, it's good to have. But sometimes it can backfire because you can't trust these people.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're just out for drugs, or they're out for money or alcohol, and they'll tell you anything.
Yeah.
Just to get that money to purchase whatever that they need their fix for. Yeah.
So you were on in the early 90s. Did you guys see anything in that area with as far as protests or riots with the Rodney King stuff when that happened? Did that carry out earlier?
So Rodney King did that came up a few years later.
Yeah.
I remember we were working patrol, and they put us on extended shifts, not knowing what the verdict was going to be.
Yeah.
And I remember driving through the north side of town with a partner, and not really expecting what everyone was going to do.
Yeah.
In Wilmington, it wasn't bad. I had my feelings that it wasn't right as far as what they did. That was my opinion.
Right.
And looking at it from a tactical position, there's a lot of different things we could have done better.
Yeah.
I've seen those kind of arrests made, and I've always treated people fairly.
Yeah, sure.
If someone's resisting,
Yeah.
then you have to do what you have to do
Oh, yeah.
to stop them from resisting. And people don't understand that sometimes it takes 4 or 5 cops
Yeah.
to get that one person
Yeah.
into custody.
And back then, police weren't really trained on hand to hand and how
Well,
to,
you learn in the academy.
You learn a little bit, but not I think it's a lot more advanced now with what they get in the academy,
Yeah,
like jujitsu.
But we didn't have the jujitsu.
Yeah, you didn't have any of that stuff then.
No. We did some boxing, a little bit of boxing in the academy. And we had this guy, his name was Lou Geekus. And Lou was an older Greek guy, and he actually played football, I think, for the Eagles, back in the day, maybe the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
And this guy's hands
Huge.
were like bear claws.
Yeah.
And he would teach us. And he would, teach us these different, holds and different positions.
Yeah.
And he always said, look, it's a fight. And at the end of the day, you got to win that fight. You got to go home at the end of the day to your family.
Yeah.
You have to survive. So that was always my mentality is, if I'm going to fight you or you're going to fight me,
Yeah.
you may throw the first punch before I do, but I'm going to win at the end of the day. And I'm going to cheat. It's there's no rules when you're fighting, street to street.
Yeah.
I've had suspects, or individuals, when you stop them, they want to fight or they want to resist. And you try and treat them fairly, the best that you can. But sometimes, you have to, hit them in the leg, hit them in the shoulder.
Yeah, right.
We had blackjacks when we started.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used my blackjack once during my career, and it knocked a guy out. So the blackjack was very, very useful as far as stopping the threat.
Yeah.
But they learned that, hey, this can kill you too.
Right.
It can kill you.
Yeah.
I remember when I hit the guy with the blackjack, he just blacked out. And it probably took him 5 minutes before he came conscious.
Oh, wow.
And he was handcuffed at that time, but we had to take him to the hospital.
Yeah.
He had to get a couple sutures. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, it's a tool for police. And you don't use it every day.
Yeah.
Because
when you need it.
you'd end up in IA.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously you have an issue.
Yeah.
But you use it when you have to.
Yeah.
But I was usually like kind of like a hands-on guy.
Yeah.
And I was pretty decent size back then, and no one really messed with me. They would challenge you once in a while to see, if you're actually capable of doing what you have to do. But not too many people did.
Yeah.
And we're lucky because most of our units we had 2-man units, so you always have backup right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when you're by yourself, you can get into something. And what's good with the city is that it only takes about maybe 30 to 40 seconds before someone else is there. So you're fighting for 30, 40 seconds by yourself until help arrives.
Yeah, you just hang on.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah. Outside of the Amtrak, which we'll get to later on, what's something else from your patrol days that stands out, that whether it be either something you can look back on and laugh, or something you look back on it and maybe it stays with you, and anything like that?
There's a lot. I have a lot of stories, but
for sure,
to focus on a couple things, like I had to chase a police car. We had someone steal a police car.
Okay.
It was kind of sad because, it is sad because this person, and this is actually when I was working in detectives, not patrol. I was in detectives, and it was like a Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Saturday, and I was on call, but we actually worked like 4 to 12.
Yeah.
And then you'd also be on call. So me and my partner were out doing a follow-up, and we were probably like 6-7 blocks away from when we hear a call come in at the Wilmington Hospital about a carjacking attempt. And then it becomes an officer on the radio saying, he stole my police car. So what happened was a father took his son, and his son was probably in his early 20s, to the Wilmington Hospital because he was having some mental issues. And when he was at the hospital, he ended up stealing a scalpel, and then fleeing the hospital from his father and from the hospital personnel out into the street. And he actually finds a car where someone just got into the car, and he tries to carjack them. And as he's doing that, a patrol car is coming across Washington Street Bridge right by the Wilmington Hospital, and they see this happening. So the patrol officer gets out. He, sees the scalpel, so he, takes his gun out, draws down on the suspect, and tells him to drop the scalpel, and he doesn't drop it, and he lunges towards the officer. Well, the officer stepped back, and when the officer stepped back, that gave the suspect enough room to get into his car. So he got into his car, and he went to close the door. As he goes to close the door, the officer's trying to get the car stopped, and ends up shooting the suspect in the leg. And then he calls it in. Luckily, he had his handheld radio, and he had his lights on. Said we're a couple blocks away, and I told my partner, I said, hey, this is something going on here. I was driving the car that day, so we go down towards the valley, like around 8th and Monroe, and I remember we were parked by like this liquor store, and all of a sudden I see the car go by us. So I get behind it, and we're chasing a police car.
Does he have his lights on?
He's going code. Yeah, he's got lights on.
Jesus.
And he's kind of zigzagging.
Yeah.
So I know something's wrong. And I hadn't realized he had been shot.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. So obviously he's not stopping for us. I'm in a marked car. So I just got my one little dome light or whatever, in the front. And we have a siren. So we're trying to, stop him. He's refusing, going through stop signs, red lights. He goes maybe about a quarter of a mile. Other police cars are now getting involved. Now I'm like the second car behind the lead car, because the lead car is now a marked unit.
Yeah.
So the suspect car, which is a police car, stops, and then he goes to get out, and then he gets back in the car, takes off, and other officers got to the end of the block, and they stopped traffic and were able to block off that street, so he couldn't go anywhere. So he floored it, and he goes up towards the sidewalk, and there's another officer there. So the officer, fires upon him, and the other officers fire upon him, and he was shot and killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just something that is always going to stick with me.
How old was the young kid?
No, it's probably in his 20s.
20s, so yeah, younger, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when after the shooting stopped, and I didn't shoot.
Yeah.
But I ran up to the car because the car was still moving after he was shot.
Yeah.
And I actually stopped the car and try to get him out of the car. Another officer helped me, and we handcuffed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was shot, pronounced dead.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably took multiple rounds, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that when you're shooting at a car, not every single bullet's going to hit you.
Yeah. There's a lot around
It's a moving object,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Plus, a lot of things are blocking, the bullet from getting through.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
the
Even going through the glass.
quarter panels, the pillars,
Yeah.
yeah, right, yeah, even the glass.
Yeah.
But yeah, they shot it up, and he was pronounced dead, and it's sad because things like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I see it today where a lot of mental illness is really the key issue as far as the problem, as far as where it starts.
Yeah.
But people don't deal with it.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with it. Back in the day, we had people who you would drop off at the Delaware Hospital because they were crazy.
Yeah.
And they would get categorized as having a mental illness, and that's where they belonged until a certain period of time.
Right.
But back then, I mean, I remember they used to do lobotomies on people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just all the different electronic testing and things to try and keep them calm.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it just doesn't happen. I mean, mental illness is definitely a problem.
Yeah, for sure. Especially on our job, it's even nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it's gotten worse.
But that kind of sticks with me. Another one where when I was a detective as well, had a case. It was a homicide where the defendant sliced his girlfriend's throat, and she was pregnant at the time. And during the autopsy, when they cut her open, sure enough, you can see the fetus. And I'll never forget because the fetus, the baby had its hands like this, like it was praying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And that fetus was probably, probably 22 weeks, 23 weeks. Yeah.
Jeez.
But the baby was formed enough so that you could tell, it was a human.
Yeah.
And just seeing that, it's like wow, how many people are going to actually see something like this?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a rare.
and that
thing.
always sticks with you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, always.
Man.
But yeah, patrol was good. I was an FTO for a few years. I actually went from patrol to community policing. I did community policing for 2 years, and then went back to patrol.
Yeah.
And usually what happens is, like, if there's a class coming out, they'll put people back into patrol.
Yeah.
As far as training them, because you have so many officers who are graduating. And that's what happened for Amtrak, where I had a brand new rookie. He had 2 weeks on the street, and we got the call. Yeah, so.
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
That was 97.
Yeah, so it's April 10th, 1997.
Yeah.
I'm working the midnight shift. So, working from like 11 to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Either midnight to 8. We will get called in at like 7:45 in the morning to go out of service, 10/7.
Yeah.
So I think it was like our fourth night out of 5. And
Did you guys work 12s?
No. Back then we were working like a 9-hour shift.
Okay.
Yeah. It was kind of a quiet night from what I remember. And we had pulled closer towards our police department, getting ready to get called in. You don't want to be too far away. And I remember I had a court case that day. And I was more worried about the court case because I know the judge is probably going to be a little bit late.
Yeah.
I get done at 8. I'm home. I can't go to sleep.
Yeah.
I got to, stay up. He's probably not going to get to court till like 10:30.
Yeah.
So now it's like 11 o'clock. Is the case going to go forward? We're going to have a trial. What's going to happen? So I'm kind of thinking about that. And then we're parked a couple blocks away from the police department, and it was down towards the Christina River. And I told my rookie partner, Hector Garcia, I said, Hector, go unload the shotgun, because we used to keep them loaded in the trunk.
Yeah.
Just I think it was 4 or 5 in the magazine, and then not the magazine, but in the gun itself. Yeah. It was called a car load, and never one in the chamber.
Yeah.
You would chamber it once you got out of the car,
right?
And that was to deter like the suspect. They would hear it, right? That meant, hey, I mean business,
Yeah.
And it was usually with double-aught buck.
Yep.
And we carried slugs as well. But a slug wasn't to be used unless you're shooting like over 35, 40 yards. So I told Hector, I said, go unload the shotgun and I'll complete your paperwork. So I'm doing his FTO report, and just waiting for them to call us in. And then, ding, call comes out. It was quiet. And they said, shots fired.
What time was this at?
7:41.
7:41
a.m. I'm done my shift. I'm getting ready to go home.
Yeah, you're checked out.
Yeah. So I heard it come in, and he was actually coming back to the car. He just slammed the trunk down, unloaded the shotgun. So I said, let's go, because this was our district. This was 13 district.
Okay.
We worked the northeast side of Wilmington. A lot of drugs, a lot of domestic situations, a lot of burglaries, robberies. So this call came in that early as shots fired. It came in as reported shots fired. And it's unusual for something like that to happen at the Amtrak maintenance facility. So I said, hey, this is something, let's go. So we hightailed it up there. And I think we're the second car to arrive. Another car beat us. But it took us maybe like 3 minutes to get there from the police station.
We're
Yeah,
that close.
Yeah, that close, yeah. So we get there, and as soon as we get out of the car, you can hear the shots. Pop, 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 pop. And there's a big maintenance warehouse where they work on the trains.
Yeah.
And they have a couple of those positioned up at the train yard. And they do all the maintenance on them. And, so we knew it was coming from one of those buildings. And people are now running by us, pointing, he's over there, he's over there. Didn't realize that one person was killed at that time.
Yeah, you're just rolling up there with a shots fired complaint. Yeah. That's all you know.
They gave a description of a white male wearing a green army jacket.
Yeah.
So I told Hector, I said, grab the shotgun. He grabs a shotgun. He gives it to me. I just do a quick speed load. Just put one
in
the chamber. Not knowing if it was a slug or double aught.
Yep.
I just did one. Didn't put the rest in, and I just ran towards where people were pointing and where the shots were coming from. So there was a lot of confusion. I'm passing probably, 40, 50 people running towards me. So Hector and I go up to the main door of this hangar, is what I call it. It's a warehouse. And we're met by a couple other officers. My lieutenant, John Randolph, Dave Yanish, who's still on the job. He's actually a motor cop. And Maurice Thompson. Maurice works for Capitol Police now.
Okay.
So we meet there, and we're trying to come up with a plan real quick. By that time we got to the door, he stopped shooting. So we're looking in, trying to be safe tactically. I've been on the SWAT team for a couple of years by that time. So I knew we didn't have time to wait for SWAT.
Yeah.
We had to do something then and there.
Because this is before like active shooter training.
This is before active shooter training, yeah. They used to call it postal, like someone's going postal.
Yeah.
And that came from an employee at a postal location as far as office went, postal. Yeah. They called it and started killing people, other employees. So anyway, we're at the opening, and we decided to go in, and we told Hector, our rookie, to stay there along with another officer just in case he got by us. So four of us go in, and we actually head towards where he is positioned, and we can see him up on the catwalk. He's like 25 feet up in the air, walking back and forth, pacing.
Is he noticing you at this point yet?
He sees us, he sees us. So now he's kind of disturbed that we're there.
Yeah.
I've got my shotgun. We're telling him, hey, come on down, trying to get him to surrender.
And what's he have?
At that time, he didn't have a handgun in his hand. There's nothing in his hand.
Okay.
I can see clear enough that, I knew that nothing was in his hand, so I'm trying to tell him, hey, come on down.
Okay.
And I'm thinking in the back of my head, is this the guy?
Yeah, you don't know yet. Yeah.
He's got a green army jacket on.
Right.
He's got on a construction hat, safety glasses.
Like an employee.
Work boots, blue jeans. Yeah. Big guys, like 6'3", 6'4". You're probably, 230, 240. I think he may have had a beard, but, just he's up there pacing back and forth. So I know something's wrong because he's not listening to our commands.
Right.
He's not coming down. So there's a big box, like a box where you put tools in.
Yeah.
And he's behind this box, and then there's like a field locker behind him. He takes the field locker and throws it down towards us. So now I'm like, this is the guy.
Yeah.
This guy's pissed off.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I don't see a gun at this time, but he's pissed off. So we still have communication. We're telling him, come on down. He's not listening to us. He opens up this gang box with tools, grabs a ball peen hammer, closes the gang box, starts slamming on it, and now he's pointing at us like this. I'm like, this guy, something's wrong.
Yeah, he's not there.
Yeah, something's wrong. So all of a sudden, he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a 9mm. and I can see it's a 9mm. It's either 9 or 40 or
Yeah, but it's a handgun. You can touch it.
and I see it's an automatic.
Yeah. And you guys, you have a shotgun, but you guys have.
We had 9mm back then. Yeah, we changed to the 9mm.
Okay, you were going from the revolver. So
Yeah, thank God. Right, yeah. So anyway, I remember Dave Yanis was next to me, and Dave goes, hey Mike, I think he's got a gun. I said, Dave, he's got a gun. I said, get ready, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So I'm trying to tell him, get ready, and he turns like this, and as soon as he turns, Maurice Thompson was all the way to my right, and I knew he was going to shoot Maurice. So as soon as he turns like this, I just fire one shot.
Yeah.
He ends up dropping the gun after he was shot, and his reaction was almost like it was a movie. And that's just the way that I explain it, because you never expect this to happen. Yeah. And until you see it happen, and I had total tunnel vision.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I really couldn't see nothing that, about my peripheral. It was just strictly focused on him, and it was like in slow motion. Yeah. And people have asked me throughout the years, like, well, did you have time to think about pulling the trigger? And I tell them no, because my whole time is I'm thinking, okay, is he a threat? Is he a threat? And then when I see the threat, that's when I react. Yeah. Because I knew if I wait any longer, it's going to be worse. Right. One of us is going to get shot or killed. Yep.
It's training, muscle memory.
It's strictly training.
That's the way I was with mine.
Strictly training.
I didn't have to think about it. It was just natural.
And you hear people say, well, you could have shot him in the leg.
That's all movie stuff.
You could have shot him in the head.
Yeah, that's all movie stuff.
No. Yeah. I was aiming center mass.
Stop the threat.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was actually like 35, 40 yards away. Yeah. So I shot once, and he drops the gun, and he lunged forward, and he fell over the railing, and he fell 25 feet down to the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he fell down like almost in front of you. You guys weren't that far away, I guess.
So now he's like, maybe 30 feet in front of us. Yeah. So I eject my round, thinking that there's another round.
Oh, yeah, because you only put the one in.
But there's not. Yeah. I only did a speed load. Yep. Didn't have time to, put any more rounds in. I have my pistol, my 9mm. But I walk up to him, like
you're ready. Yeah.
Like it's a loaded, shotgun. It wasn't. My mistake, but, things happen quick, and you don't think about it. Luckily, the shot, killed him. Yeah. 7 out of the 9 pellets hit him. It was all like his upper forearm. Yeah. His chest. 2 of the pellets they couldn't account for.
And then the fall on top of it.
And they said the fall had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
They said it was the shot because of where it landed as far as his organs.
Vitals, yeah.
And when we walked up to him, he was gone. Yeah. He was deceased. The paramedics arrived, and they tried to revive him, but they couldn't. And yeah, that was it. They took me out of there real quick. I didn't have to give up my 9mm, but I gave them my shotgun, because that's now evidence. Yeah. Not that I would want the shotgun for any other reason. Yeah. But
it's part of it. Part of the process.
I mean, even for you, when you went through your situation, I'm sure they gave you a new handgun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the old one back too.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because usually you don't.
A couple years later.
Yeah, because it's evidence. Yeah.
Yeah. After everything was done and adjudicated and all that stuff. But yeah.
So they took me out of there, and an officer said, "Where do you want to go?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "I have to tell my wife because this is going to be on the news."
How many people did he kill?
So he killed his foreman.
Okay. So just disgruntled employee just went nuts.
He killed his foreman, shot 2 others.
Okay.
And when we got there, he was actively shooting at other people.
So one death.
1 death. Yeah. Yeah. One guy was critical, but he survived, and the other guy left like after a day or 2 in the hospital. But yeah, a total of 1 killed, 2 shot.
Was this the first time you discharged your weapon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only time I discharged my weapon.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had been in scenarios after that.
Yeah.
Where it came close, but I didn't have to.
Yeah.
And even before that, because that's the last thing that cops want to do is have to shoot someone or kill someone. Mm-hmm. You're given a big responsibility, and people don't understand that. Mm-hmm. And you take that seriously because you don't know when it's going to happen. And when it does happen, you hope that you do the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's always kind of in the back of your mind.
There's lots of situations with law enforcement where it's like, it's justified, but like, do you need to? Like, is there a way, you know what I mean? Without like, you know, I'm never going to Monday morning quarterback anybody, but
Right.
there are situations where it's like, you're justified to take this step of lethality, I guess you could say. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
you using deadly force. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
but it's not always necessary, I guess.
Right.
Right.
So he kills his foreman. I saw him as I passed by, like leaving the area, and just saw him laying there. Unfortunately, and then shot 2 others. They took them to the hospital. But yeah, they took me away from the scene quickly.
Yeah, got you out of there.
So thinking about later, I wish I had stayed, or someone said, no, you're staying until you can tell us, exactly where you were, or whatever. That would help out as far as my, I guess just my kind of feelings as far as what happened, and making sure that I was correct as far as telling everyone where I was and what I did. But there's other people there with me who could say, hey, well, Mike was standing right here next to me. He's the only one that shot.
Right.
So they could tell the story. They could tell that, what they saw. They all saw the gun. I was the only one that shot. But I'm taking it where if I was still there that day, it probably would have helped me.
Yeah.
In the long term. So anyway, they take me out there. The one officer says, where do you want to go? I said, oh, they take me home.
Yeah. So you just went right home. You didn't go to the PD or anything.
No, I went right home. My wife had left. She had an appointment or something. Once she got to the office, because back then I don't think we had cell phones.
Yeah, no cell phones yet. Yeah,
we had pagers.
Yeah,
And once she got to the office, I talked to her, and I said, "Hey, I've been involved in a shooting." I said, "I'm fine. Everything's fine." And she said, "How about the other person?" I said, "No, they're deceased."
Yeah.
And she started crying. From that day. I went home and I didn't go to the police department, so I stayed home, and I got probably 300 phone calls.
Oh, I'm sure.
Calls started coming in, not just from my agency, but from other agencies.
Yeah,
because they learned about that quickly too.
Yeah, guys guys you've worked with.
So no sleep that day. I ended up going to the Flyers game that night.
Oh wow.
Someone had tickets and said, "Hey, I'm going to take you to the Flyers game to kind of get your mind off of this." We end up seeing another cop up at the Flyers game, and he's talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
There's no getting away from it.
No, there's not. Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to relax and watch the game. He wants to talk about it. So yeah, probably for 2 days didn't sleep. The second day I went in and gave my statement to detectives, and that's when you really realize that, hey, your ass puckers up because they're reading you your rights.
Yeah. Did you have your lawyer with you?
Yeah, I had 2 attorneys.
Yeah.
They got me 2 attorneys for the civil part and for the criminal part.
Mm-hmm.
The civil was for internally, and the criminal was obviously with the DOJ, AG's office. Because they have to investigate and make sure it's justified. It's a good shoot. And back then, our department had gone through a couple shootings where they were questionable.
Yeah.
So the media is all over. Is this another shooting that Wilmington is involved with that is questionable? Did they have to shoot? But yeah, so I gave my statement, and just remembered sitting there telling the story and thinking to myself, I'm a suspect in a homicide. Mm-hmm. This is considered a homicide. And I want to make sure I get this right. So I told them the story. After that, they said, look, you're on administrative leave. My unit was not working because now we had like 3 days off. So they said, we'll call you to report back to duty when we're done with the investigation.
Yeah.
So a week goes by and they call me back and they said, hey, we want you to come in. We're going to put you up in records. So I said, all right. So I went back in and went to records. And as I'm up in records, the FOP president comes up to me and says, why are you here? I said, HR told me to come in,
Yeah.
Do you want to be here? He said. I said, not really. I said, I can't work with one shift.
Yeah.
I'm not making any overtime. Can't work any extra jobs. I'm not even making shift differential,
Yeah.
I said, and I'm upstairs in records.
Doing nothing.
collecting evidence, checking evidence in.
Yeah.
And I'm also checking in, rounds and ballistics.
Yep.
And we had just gotten the IBIS machine back then.
Oh, okay.
So I was helping put information into the IBIS machine as far as the evidence. So he said, if you don't want to be here, go tell them, you're going home.
Yeah.
So he walked me over to HR and he said, Mike doesn't want to be here. He wants to go home. And they looked at me and said, is that what you want to do? I said, yeah. I said, I want to be with my platoon.
Yeah.
And they said, well, go ahead, go home, and we'll call you when you're back in. And the FMP said, look, he hasn't been to the psychologist. He hasn't been cleared.
Yeah, there's a number of things that have to go down.
This, all the red tape involved in this.
Yeah.
And our policy strictly said, when you're involved in a deadly shooting and someone dies, you're on administrative leave.
Yeah, you're usually out for months.
You're on leave, right? You're not going back and working in a different capacity.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like I was being punished.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So I went back home, and they scheduled me to see the psychologist. They didn't have any more questions for me as far as the scene or anything that happened. So they had everything kind of put together, but they still had to wait for the city solicitor's office to clear it, the AG's office to clear it, and then internal affairs. So that took months, just like you said. It's a long process. So I was out of work for 6 months.
Man, what did you do over the 6 months?
So,
because you can't work anywhere else. You're not supposed to anyway.
No, you can't work as a police officer.
Yeah.
I still have my weapon, my departmental issued handgun, 9mm. Still have my badge, of course. You don't lose your rights as a police officer.
Yeah.
But you can't go work as a police officer.
Yep.
You're kind of on standby. So I kind of got into like the construction business.
Okay.
Where my wife was working in real estate. She had a couple clients who need like some painting done.
Yeah.
Some drywall work done, some plumbing done.
Yep. Keeps you busy.
Yeah. So I knew how to do those things. So I actually got, a business license.
Oh.
Did like my own web page.
Yeah.
And I was starting to do business within these 6 months. And I thought about quitting, law enforcement.
Oh, okay.
It was getting so busy and so good that I was like, what, I can do this as a career.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't need, police work.
Were you dealing with the effects of the shooting yet? Like the stress and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah.
That was building up on you?
Yeah.
What about that was getting you?
So I had nightmares.
Yeah.
The one nightmare I had was we're at the police department and we're in our training facility room. And there's a bunch of police officers in there, and it was like a new class. Yeah. And I was there, and I had my weapon, but no one else had weapons. And someone came in and started shooting everyone. And when I went to draw my weapon, it wouldn't fire. Mm. So that was kind of like a helplessness kind of, dream, nightmare. Yeah. And when they sent me to the psychologist, first it's a city psychologist, and they're not prepared to deal with any kind of, shooting like this. No. They just want to make sure that you're stable and that you can go back and do your job. Yeah. So they categorized me as having potential PTSD. Mm-hmm. And back then I was like, what do you mean I have PTSD? This is just things that I'm experiencing, and I'm telling you, I'm being honest with you. Yeah. And up front and telling you what I'm experiencing. I am having some nightmares. I'm not sleeping well. I'm kind of upset because I can't get back to work. Yeah.
Is there a lot known about PTSD at this time?
No.
I didn't think so, yeah.
No. PTSD was mainly, with the military.
Right.
You really didn't have it with law enforcement.
Yeah, at least it wasn't thought of for law enforcement.
Correct, yeah. But it was something that was starting to kind of, go around where you're now seeing law enforcement officers come down with PTSD because of traumatic incidents. Yeah. And because cops see so many traumatic incidents throughout their career compared to a normal person, it's just unreal. So the psychologist says, we think you have PTSD. So they sent me to a specialist. So now I do like 6 sessions with them, which turns out to be like, 8 weeks or so. Yeah. So I do that. I finally get down to the range, qualify, which was good because I hadn't shot a gun, since then. Yeah. Really didn't want to go shoot a gun. So I did that. And then I was just waiting for, the investigation to wrap up and clear me. Yeah. But still, until that 6-month period, you don't know if you're clear. Yeah. Even though it's a justified shooting.
Yeah, it's just a waiting game.
This guy had 2 guns. I forgot to tell you that.
Oh, he had 2 guns on.
He had 2.
Both handguns?
He had a 9mm and a 38.
Okay.
So getting back to him, and I'll never mention his name, because
fine.
I don't want to mention his name.
Yep.
But he was local as far as here, Delaware.
Yeah.
Actually lived downstate here, and worked at Amtrak for a long time. But he brought 2 guns that day to the job because they were celebrating a 1-year anniversary as far as having no injuries on the job. Yeah.
Wow.
So he brought the 2 guns knowing that he was going to start shooting, killing people. And that was the opportune time for him to do that during the lunchtime break, because they're going to have a special lunch for all the employees.
Together in one room.
We're celebrating 1 year without any injuries on the job.
Yeah.
They actually had they had this kind of like billboard when you pulled in, and it said, 1 year, no injuries on the job.
Yeah.
And someone took a picture of that and gave it to me, and I was like, wow, that's
Jeez.
that's why he did it. I mean, he planned it out. Yeah. So he had a bunch of ammo with him. And I think what happened was when he got to work that day, he couldn't wait until lunchtime.
He got amped up and wanted to
Something
do it.
just triggered him, and he started shooting.
Yeah.
Killed his foreman, and then shot the 2 others. And then that's when we got there. Yeah. So 2 guns.
Man.
Yeah. So getting back to me being off of work, working construction, I thought about it. The specialist they sent me to was out of Philly. She was great. She said, "You don't have PTSD. You just have what normally happens to cops who are involved in these traumatic events." Didn't have to go into any kind of medication. I'm not a big medication type of person.
Yeah, me
I'll take vitamins and stuff, but I don't want to have to do with anything with any meds. Just kind of got back into my old habits. And then once I was cleared, I was called back to go onto the street, back in patrol. And actually before that, the one thing I dealt with was one of our officers on our platoon was getting married. And it was like maybe a week after the incident.
Oh, okay.
So I'm at his wedding, and we're actually in the church, and I'm Catholic, thinking about the 10 commandments.
Yeah.
And what commandment comes up in my mind? Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
So now I'm dealing with the, religious part of it.
For sure, yeah.
Am I guilty of, one of the 10 commandments? And I talked to, a couple of priests, and they all said the same thing. You're completely justified. You're one of our, people who, go out and protect us. It's either, you were him. You had no choice.
Yeah, there's a difference between killing and murdering.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I kind of dealt with that for a little bit, and settled it within myself. And finally got back on the street, and I'll never forget it because they said, "Mike, we're going to put you as a one-man car up in the 19th sector, which is like Union Street, Union Park Gardens, Rockford Park.
Nice area.
Nice area,
Yeah.
right? So nothing's going to happen."
Shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, "Great." So I leave the police department, pull out, go in service. And the first call they sent me on, a report of a man with a gun at the Amtrak train station.
Get the hell out of here.
True story.
Oh, my God.
So now I'm thinking to myself, can I do this?
Are you panicking?
Is this going to happen again?
Yeah.
I'm panicking in the back of my mind, but I'm still going.
Still doing your job, yeah.
Still doing my job because that's what I have to do. But, they're sending me to this call. I'm the closest to get there.
The guys that are working got to be thinking, you got to be shitting me right now.
Probably everyone.
Yeah.
So I get there. I tend to. I'm arrived. Get out. It turns out to be a false report.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot. A lot of these false reports, man carrying a gun. Someone mistakes someone for carrying a gun, or someone sees someone and they call it in as a man with a gun. Unfounded. So, but I mean that's in the back of my mind. And what was in the back of my mind is, can I do this again?
Yeah.
Do I want to go through this again?
Yeah.
And the answer to me was, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I still dealt with it where I said to myself, well, now I'm kind of more alert.
Yeah.
And it kind of helped me better doing my job because I'm more alert at looking at things.
You can slow it down a little bit more in your head and process it.
Back during the Amtrak, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
It was the last thing I was ever expecting in my career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about going to court that day.
Yeah.
And this comes in, and now when I'm going back in service that first day, I'm going right back into it. I mean, that was crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Man.
So after that was cleared, unfounded, I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. You felt good after that?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. So about a year later, I got transferred to detectives. Worked in detectives for the rest of my career.
Yeah.
For 13 years. Some really good cases, a couple high profile cases. He just really enjoyed working, in that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just something as far as Amtrak, as far as that happening with someone, especially with me, you never think about that happening.
Yeah.
Never.
For sure.
You're always told, hey, this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in the police academy, they're like, look around you, 5 of you are not going to be here, within the next 5 years. Something's going to happen. You're going to get fired.
Yep.
You're going to quit. You're going to go to a different agency. A couple of you may get hurt, may even get killed. A couple of you may be involved with, having to use deadly force. So you really don't, think about that until it happens.
Yeah.
But another officer, the guy who actually took me to the Flyers game, when we're up there, he said, there's one thing that that everyone else doesn't know. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know that when the time comes to it, you can pull the trigger if need be.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I never thought about that because it was always to me training,
Yeah.
You see a threat, you deal with it,
That's why I was terrible. You don't know, I don't care what you've done, what you've been through, or what you've trained. You don't know how you're going to react in a situation like that until you're in that situation. You really don't know,
And after that, I was in a couple situations where I could have shot, but didn't.
Yeah.
There's one situation where I'm driving in patrol, and sure enough, I'm by myself, and I was up north, and we're looking for a vehicle that was involved in a carjacking. So I'm up on Northeast Boulevard, up around the Thunder Guards Club, like 30th and Northeast, and I look over, I'm at the red light at 30th and Northeast Boulevard, and I see 2 guys struggling over a briefcase. They have a briefcase. One guy has 2 hands on it, and the other guy has the handle. And I look, and they're both holding handguns. So I stop the car, I'm at the red light, and I get out, and I draw down, and I'm telling them, drop the guns, drop the guns.
Yeah.
I can't decide who I'm going to shoot first.
Yeah.
And then my backdrop, I'm looking at my backdrop, and it's a car dealership.
People everywhere.
They used to sell Jeeps up here, Baker AMC. And there's people walking through the parking lot,
Yeah.
People trying to sell cars, employees. And it's probably around 7 o'clock at night. So I'm looking, and I can't shoot.
Yeah.
So luckily, the one guy breaks away. And he runs south on Northeast Boulevard. So I stay focused on the other guy who has the briefcase now, still has a handgun. And I'm telling him, drop the gun, I'm going to shoot you. So finally, he puts the gun on the ground, still has the briefcase. And I go up to him, and I throw him on the ground. I go to cuff him. As I'm cuffing him, the guy who ran away, he turns and fires a shot. Boom. So now I'm on the radio screaming, get me units up here. I got shots fired.
Yeah.
So I knew there were units in the area, so they start coming up. And what happened was the guy who fled, who fired a shot, he now tries to carjack someone. There's a liquor store over there. And a guy comes out of the liquor store, goes to get in his car, and luckily the guy had like a kill switch on his car. Mm-hmm. So the guy couldn't start the car. So he grabs this guy as a hostage, and now he's walking down the street because the police are coming.
Jeez.
They're all coming code red to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like a half a block away with this guy, on the ground, cuffing him, taking his gun. And they get there and they see him, and he points the gun towards them. He actually fires around, shoots the victim, his hostage, in the hand. The hostage goes to the ground, and they just light him up.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This is after your Amtrak shooting or before?
This may have been before.
Okay.
But
That's wild.
But then it may have been afterwards. No, I think it was before. Yeah, it was before.
2 guys stand there fighting over a suitcase with guns in their hands.
Yeah, so
Good
what happened
night.
was the guy who had the briefcase, he worked at this local little mom and pop store.
Yeah.
And he was running numbers out of there. illegal gambling. And what happened was he went home, and 2 guys followed him home and did a home invasion, duct taped him up, took his briefcase, which had like $7 grand in it. Because like every Thursday or Friday, he would go home and count the money.
Yeah.
So they knew his routine. So they followed him home, and they duct taped him. He ends up escaping after they leave, and he follows them, grabs his gun, follows them, trying to catch up to him because he's trying to get his money back. Doesn't call the police.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to go out and get his money. Obviously, he doesn't call the police because the money is illegal to have because he's taking in gambling proceeds. But anyway, I pull up and there they are. I kind of had like the reputation where I'd pull in his stuff,
Yeah.
like just
shit magnet.
Yeah, shit magnet. Yeah, right. So like 3 or 4 officers come, and they light him up and shoot him, and he survived. That guy. Yeah, he survived. But as I'm up there, handcuffing this guy and dealing with him, they're shooting, and it was just something else. Yeah, chaos. Yeah.
Wilmington's a wild place, man.
It is. And I don't know if you ever did anything up there when you were on a task force.
Oh, task force, and then when I was in K-9, I trained with Wilmington, and we always went out on shit when I was up there training.
So you have a feeling as far as what can happen.
Yeah.
How different it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilmington's a great place.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different shitholes and a lot of
man.
places where you wouldn't want to walk after 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get victimized.
I mean, we drive around the city going to different spots training, and then like shit pops up on the radio, and we would I would just follow the Wilmington guys and go respond to shit and use the dogs. It was great.
Absolutely, yeah, just crazy.
Or we'd be like training somewhere like over like Riverside or somewhere, and something will pop off like while we're training,
right?
Like in the middle of training.
Yeah.
It's like, is this happening right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just crazy things.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are just a couple of the kind of things that happened. Like I said, when I was in detectives, I worked one case. It was the ice cream homicide where they killed the ice cream man. This guy worked for Jack and Jill out of Philly.
Yeah,
he was actually Yemen. He came over from Yemen, and he had 5 or 6 children, and he was out there working, trying to do the best for him.
Yeah,
doing the American thing, the American dream. He came here and he's working as an ice cream man, and they flagged him down, and then they went to rob him. And during the robbery, they shot him and killed him.
Oh my gosh!
So that was one of my cases, and we saw that case. It was a great case, and it was 2 individuals with another individual, and we used the other individual as a witness during the trial, and he cooperated. But yeah, that was one of the cases where they killed the ice cream man, and it turned out they killed the ice cream man in front of the one suspect's house. If you're gonna do a crime, don't do it in front of your house.
That's wild.
Go somewhere else.
Nuts.
You use some common sense.
Good Lord, man.
But yeah, that's one that'll always be with me.
Yeah, that's stuff like that, man. Where it's just there's no rhyme or reason.
No, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
There's no sense in doing it, and when those things happen and you see that much violence.
Yeah, there's no respect for human life.
No respect at all.
Yeah,
no respect at all. We did a SWAT hit one time, and I was like the second or third guy in. And I really didn't have any kind of like specialty on the SWAT team.
Yeah. I
was just kind of like
in
hands on. No, I was hands on.
Yeah.
But usually I was like, number 2, number 3, number 4. And like kind of towards the end of my career, they were kind of putting me like towards the front. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of getting too old to be going up the stairs.
I'm getting close to retirement.
Yeah, right, yeah. So that's what I said, you know what? I'm done with SWAT. But yeah, it's just one of those things where we hit the house and we knew where this guy was going to be staying. And we knew which room he was in because of the intel we had. And we prepared for it. And come, 5 o'clock in the morning, we're, getting ready. We go out and we kick the door in at 5:30. And sure enough, he's where we knew he was. And he was sleeping. He had his girlfriend with him, and he's on the bed. And as I go in, I see him on the bed, and he's reaching over. And what do I see? He's got like a Tech 9,
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And he's reaching for that, so I just dove on him.
Yeah.
Now, could I have shot him? Probably justifiably,
Yeah, you've been
yes.
justified for sure. Reaching for a gun.
But that was after, Amtrak.
Yeah.
And
you were trying to avoid it.
I was trying to avoid it.
It's a split-second decision. You just react.
Right. Mm-hmm. So we just, bambooed him and, cuffed him. And he was naked. I mean,
Yeah, right.
So we had to clothe him up and, and I told him, I said, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
I said, probably anyone else probably would have shot you.
Yeah, and totally justified too.
Yeah, yeah,
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, that gun was fully loaded and ready to go. But it's those things where, you know, I've been shot at before, where just out on patrol looking for someone, and then some young kid takes
Pops
a shot.
around off.
Yeah. Just stupid.
Stupid stuff.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just one of those things where you always have to be alert.
Yeah.
And whenever I would park somewhere, like to settle down or to take a little break or to do some paperwork, I'd always park in a corner where no one could walk up behind you.
Yeah.
It's just those things that I kind of trained myself to do because I knew that there's always a threat out there.
Yeah. Well, it's just like now, like even now today, when I go out to eat, I got to find the right spot to sit in the restaurant.
Same thing.
You know what I mean?
I'm sitting in a corner.
Yeah.
I know where the nearest exit is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if you're at a movie theater, restaurant, church, you know, the mall. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Even when you're at your, you know, your office where you work at, you know where the escape route is because this is where shootings happen.
Yeah.
You know, active shooter. And just like you said, I mean, before my incident, they didn't categorize it as active shooter, but that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was an active shooter incident. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How about I know you talked about nightmares and stuff before. Do you still deal with any of that today? Have you been able to work through all that?
Yeah. I haven't had any nightmares.
Yeah.
You know, regarding that. Sometimes I have strange kind of nightmares.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
just because of just things that you kind of remember.
Yeah.
But nothing regarding, you know, Amtrak itself.
Yeah.
I usually don't think about it now until like around the date as far as when it happened. You know, the News Journal did a story a couple of years ago. It contacted me, and it was during like a bunch of shootings.
Okay.
Where they're having more law enforcement shootings.
Yeah, it's more prevalent.
So they reached out to me to talk about my incident, and I kind of gave them my perspective as far as, you know, what you go through.
Yeah.
As an officer, because it's not all what it's made out to be.
Yeah.
It took me 6 months to get back on the street because of all the red tape. And then I had to deal with, you know, potentially being diagnosed with PTSD, even though I didn't have PTSD, but just thinking that I had some kind of disease. I'm thinking PTSD is a disease.
Yeah, because nothing's known about it really back then.
Right,
Nobody
yeah.
talks about that.
But mental illness, I mean, you have to have somewhere to go to talk to someone else because cops don't want to talk.
Yeah.
You know it, I know it. Police officers don't want to talk about what they just experienced because we're like John Wayne.
Yep.
You know, we're like Superman.
Yep.
We're like Batman, where whatever happened, happened.
Yep,
and you can shrug that off for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
But it builds up inside of you where
Yeah.
you see so much of it, it's just going to explode one day. And I've seen it explode. I've seen cops take their lives. I've talked to cops who have thought about suicide. And it's just one of those things where get the help. When I was going through my incident, I didn't think I needed help. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? They're offering it. Let me get ahead and do it.
Yeah.
We actually had a group counseling session with a local doctor, Susan Egger, and she actually wrote a book later on kind of with our experiences. And there was myself and a couple other officers, and they were involved with, you know, a deadly force shooting. And we got together as a group and we would meet, you know, whether it was weekly or biweekly, and we would go to her office and we discussed, you know, what happened. And that helped with the healing process.
Yeah.
Because all of us, even though our scenarios were different, we all were cops and we couldn't talk to anyone else.
Yeah.
We had to talk amongst ourselves to get it out.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing to do. So yeah, I highly recommend anyone listening today, you know, if you're in law enforcement, if you're in EMS, you know, the medical field, you know, fire, ambulance, you know, talk to people.
Yeah.
It's out there, you know, so you can get help.
Yeah. I think it's getting better, slowly
hope so,
but surely.
yeah.
But I feel like just from my experiences and people I've talked to, and I feel like the mental health thing is coming around a lot more now than it has been in the past for first responders, for law enforcement especially.
Yeah.
I think it has a long ways to go still, but I think there has been progress made on that for sure.
Yeah, I don't think people realize the end result.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone says, well, the end result is suicide.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that there's signs, number one. And when something like this happens, you have to almost make it mandatory so that they go through the process, whether they don't want to or not. Because someone like me, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do it because I have other things to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have other things that'll keep me busy. I'm not going to think about it. But at some point in time, you know, as a law enforcement officer, you're going to think about that. It's going to come back up and it's going to haunt you.
Oh yeah.
And unless you get the help, you know, it's not going to be there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you retired in what year did you retire?
2012.
2012.
Yeah.
And did you when you got out, did you have an idea of what you wanted to do, or did you have a problem with transition?
So when I was in detectives, I was up there for like 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
And they offered me a position as far as the financial crimes investigator.
Okay.
So I was kind of leery as far as taking that because I was working homicides.
Yeah.
We didn't have a homicide unit, but we worked, you know, the major crimes. It was called major crimes.
Yeah, and just rolled into homicides.
So you would work robbery, shootings, stabbings, sometimes a sexual assault, homicides. So I kind of felt like, you know what, I kind of want to stay where I'm at because I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
But then again, I was like, you know what, this may be a sign for me to change, and do something else.
Yeah.
Which could lead me, into my future, job, because I know when I leave law enforcement, I'm going to have to do something else.
Yeah.
Leaving law enforcement, I didn't want to get into law enforcement again. I wanted to do something else, go into the private sector. So I worked in financial crimes for 5 years, which took me to the end of my career. And I learned that there's a position that was being offered for a local community bank. And I reached out to them, gave them up my resume. I got hired. And I've been there since, and it's been great for me.
Yeah, you figured out a way to use your skills that you picked up over 20 years.
And it was nice because when I was in financial crimes, I'm dealing with all the banks in Wilmington.
Yeah.
So I
had
had
to know the ins and outs, how things work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cops do not want to handle financial crime. They'd rather handle homicide.
Yeah.
Because
it's true.
Because they don't know what they're doing with financial crime. But financial crimes, 90% of the cases don't even go to trial. They get pled out.
Yeah. Because
you have that trail as far as the check, the transfer, the bank account.
Yeah, you got a trial, you're cooked.
You got the money trail, baby.
Yeah.
Right. And once you present that to them, they know that, they're done.
Yeah.
And they want to plea out.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned Kathleen Jennings. She was actually a defense attorney for a while.
Yeah.
And one of her clients, I was getting ready to arrest, or I had arrested. And she came to my office and she's like, what can we do about this? I'm like, well, have them plea. You don't want to go to trial, have them plea.
Yeah.
Because here's everything. Here's all the documentation.
Yep.
And sure enough, her client pled, but it's one of those cases where, you have enough against them.
Yeah, right. You got it wrapped up. It's sealed. Yeah.
And in a lot of these cases, they don't get a lot of time. They'll get probation, hopefully pay restitution.
Yeah.
But restitution could be, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
I dealt with a lot of embezzlement cases. And it all comes down to greed.
Yeah.
I had one defendant where she was actually working for a bank in Wilmington, and it was a high-profile bank. And she actually was the VP in charge of the building, like furniture and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when new people would come in, she would have to order the furniture, get their offices prepared. And what she was doing was she was double billing. So she would bill it once for that person and then double bill it and have her secretary take that money and put it towards her American Express account. Mm. She actually paid for her daughter's wedding.
Wow.
She paid for vacations. She paid for cosmetic surgery. Yeah, right.
Christ.
And she paid for a big house out in Hookhausen. So
Crazy,
that's
man.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah.
That's wild.
She ended up pleading guilty,
Yeah.
And is paying restitution.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of these people don't get much time.
Yeah.
Unless it's something really, really big.
For sure. Yeah. And then I heard you have you went and restored an old car.
Yeah. So I have a 1974 Plymouth Fury.
Yeah.
And I love the car. The person who had it before me was a guy. He's deceased now, Joe Erberly. God rest his soul. Joe and his buddies are car enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And I had never been really like a car enthusiast myself. But he offered the car to the FOP.
Okay.
And at the time I was president of our lodge, of the FOP. And I presented it to our board where, hey, we can have this car. We can take it to parades, use it for different things, community involvement,
yeah,
PR. And the board bought into it. and we ended up buying the car. And a couple of years later, the board no longer wanted the car because of the maintenance and everything. And there's a couple issues that we had to deal with. So I said, I'll buy it. You know, I know the car, I like it. You know, I'll buy it. So I made them an offer, and they accepted my offer, and I bought the car, and I've had it ever since. And I guess I've had it now probably 8-9 years now.
And it's all marked up with like the old Wilmington logos and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get a picture up, put it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's nice. We just put a new engine in it just this past year. It turned 50.
Yeah, that's cool.
In 2025. So I put a new engine, crate motor in there. And it's got the 360. So back in the day with the Plymouth Furies, they made a 440 engine for the highway for state police, and a 360 for like city driving. And this has a 360. It wasn't a real patrol car. This was actually a car, from the research I've done, was in a fleet in upstate New York. That was like in the mayor's detail.
Oh, okay.
So it didn't get beat up.
Yeah.
And that's why it's in such good condition. Anything else would have been torn up, especially in the city.
Oh, yeah.
Because those cars get destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just driving, 16, 17 hours a day.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes even longer. And just, the driving that they take on, and the damage it takes on as far as the abuse. But yeah, I've had a car, and I take it to some different shows. We take it to the Police Memorial every year up in D.C. We have a group that actually go to the Police Memorial.
Do you guys drive it over or trailer it over?
I drive mine.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted a new engine, because I wanted to make sure it's going to get there.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to be driving up there with a 50-year-old engine. So I was debating, do I just rebuild this engine, or do I put a new crate engine in it?
Yeah.
And everyone I talked to in the car world said, put a new engine.
Yeah.
You're getting a new engine. You know it's new.
Yeah, right. No
It's
problems.
got a warranty for a couple of years.
Yep.
And with the old one, you're just kind of putting a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
On something that's going to fail soon.
Yeah.
So we put a new crate engine in it. Yeah. So it's great. I get a lot of head turning. When I drive it. I don't like to overexpose it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to be that one car where it's that car again.
It's that car. It's that guy.
He was just here last week. Yeah.
That's cool though.
So I take it to a couple different local shows here, and I take it to Atlantic City as well. They have a big security and police expo.
Oh, cool.
And I've had it showcased there with a couple other cars.
That's neat.
For a couple of days. So yeah, it's kind of neat. I did want to do Rhode Island. There's a event up at Rhode Island every year. Haven't gone up there yet. But once I retire, hopefully I can get up there.
That's cool.
With the car. But I think I'm going to keep that for a long time.
Yeah, why not? It's cool. It's cool.
I don't know if my boys want it after I want it.
Yeah.
But I'll offer it to them. Once I'm no longer able to take care of it. But yeah, there's an expense to it. You got to pay to store it somewhere.
Yeah. Insurance, everything goes with it. Yeah.
I just learned that the transmission fluid leaked everywhere, so that the seal popped off. I guess when it was cold.
Yeah.
Even though it's garaged, that seal popped, and just those little things. I mean, you have to keep it running.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's fun. Yeah, I'll send you a picture of it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll put it up here. That'd be neat for people to see. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to add? Any advice for young officers out there?
Yeah. My best advice I can give to them is be safe.
Yeah.
Safety is number one. Like I said earlier, you have to get home at the end of each day. Sometimes, you may be in a situation where you're second guessing yourself, but trust your judgment, because you get the training. You're capable of doing the job because they're giving you the power to make arrests.
Right.
And they're giving you the tools, hopefully, to do that. But, use your judgment, never second guess yourself. And especially when it comes down to that split second, because that's how long it takes. And, just try to have fun. My career, I look back and I think about all the fun times I had, because 90% of law enforcement is boredom and 10% is excitement.
Yep.
It's probably about the same. But I really feel for these guys and girls, because they're coming now into law enforcement where everyone's against them. At least back in my day, the government had your back, whether it was the politicians.
Yeah.
I had
a respected position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to lock up a politician, which I didn't even know was a politician.
Yeah.
But I ended up locking him up. and it's just one of those things where I don't know who this person is,
Right. Yeah.
but he's breaking the law.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to put his hands on me,
Yeah.
and I said, no, you're not going to do that, and we ended up arresting him, and he apologized later on, once I saw him years later, but he was drunk.
Yeah.
He parked his car outside of his house, and it was actually on an Easter morning. I had a partner, and my partner went up, knocked on the door, because we went to run a tag of the car to see if it was stolen, because we thought it was a stolen car.
Yeah.
And it's like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, and my partner goes up, knocks on the door, because our diligence system was down. A lot of times back then, the system would go down for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So we couldn't run a tag. So the car was unlocked. So we were able to get into the glove box, and we found the registration. It comes back right there. So my partner goes up to knock on the door to see if they need help. Why is your car parked in the middle of the street?
Yeah.
We can't get by it. Do we have to have it towed? Is there a medical problem? So he knocks on the door. The guy comes out, and he's like, who the F are you? What are you doing? So I hear the commotion. So I go up there with my partner. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, this guy apparently says he owns the car. He's a little belligerent. So I said, sir, do you own this car? And he takes his hand and he pushes me this. So I gave him the chance. I said, sir, don't do that. And he pushed me again.
Yeah.
And that's what I said, I'm sorry, you're under arrest.
Yeah.
And I can smell alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
So he resists. We lock him up, put him in the police car. Now we're trying to figure out, okay, is this his car? Why is it here? Turns out he parked it there like 3 o'clock in the morning, just left it.
Yeah.
He was drunk.
Yeah, for sure.
Heard us knock on the door, came down, and that's when, he was like, get out. As he's in the back of a police car, he's like, take these handcuffs off, and let me back in the house. If not, I'm going to have your job.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I'm like, sir, you're under arrest. You're going down to the police station.
Yeah.
And so we waited for the tow truck. Tow truck came, towed the car. We take him down to the police station, which was only back then, I don't know, maybe 6-7 blocks away. It wasn't too far from our headquarters. So we pulled into the police station, pulled back into Sallyport, walking through the turnkey, and I'll never forget my sergeant. He used to like smoking cigars. He's sitting there. This is Easter morning.
Yeah.
Nothing's going on.
Yeah.
He's got a cigar, and he goes, what do you got, Mike? I said, oh, Sarge, this guy says he's a city councilman. He looks and goes,
shit.
Yes, he is. And he says, Michael, he says, I've never told you how to do your job, but get him logged in the book.
Yeah.
Because I have to make a phone call.
Yeah.
And my sergeant knew that once he was in the logbook, it wasn't going to get fixed.
Yeah. There's nothing coming out of that one. Yeah.
Once that name's in the logbook, it doesn't get whited out.
Yeah.
It stays in there.
Yeah. There's no phone calls going to help you.
So he had to call my lieutenant, who had gone home early that day. And the lieutenant came in, and the lieutenant tried to fix it, but couldn't. Yeah. Because it's in the logbook.
Yeah.
And you got, the sergeant who, is smart enough to, have it logged in there. My lieutenant actually walked the councilman up to his office, sat with him for 20 minutes, walked him back down, and they arraigned him real quick, got him out. Went to trial, and he appealed it. Yeah. And went to Superior Court, and he was found guilty.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, yeah. And then a couple years after that, he became a state representative.
Of course.
And he saw me, and he apologized.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I don't think the guy's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's made a stupid mistake.
He just got jammed up, and just you don't put your hands on police.
Yeah, no.
Especially twice.
No. And
he was told the first time, sir, relax, we're trying to figure out what's going on with your car.
Yeah, where if he'd just been like, oh, yeah, man, I'm sorry.
And he was like, get the F out. Yeah. Didn't want to have any parts with us.
Yeah.
And we would have been glad to leave and just tow the car.
Yeah.
But once you put your hands on it like that,
it's done deal.
No, right. Back in the day, when I first came on, you see people resist. Yeah. And they want to fight, and then they get blackjacked, and they're, ended up in the hospital. Yeah. And any given Friday, Saturday night, you'd have at least 2-3 people with, their heads wrapped around because they got blackjacked. Oh yeah. In a turnkey. Yeah. And that was kind of a sign to say, hey, you don't resist, you don't, choose to fight with us, because this is what's going to happen. Yeah. And now that doesn't happen, where you can't go hands on with a lot of these people. Now you have tasers. If they work, okay, but if they don't work, then you got to go hands on, or what do? A lot of cops, go to deadly force, and sometimes that's not the right, decision. Yeah. But it's something they have to deal with. But yeah, it's just, something you have to, depend upon as far as your training
Yeah.
and your experience. And I feel like a lot of these police officers today, maybe they shouldn't be officers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't want to be cops, but then they have to hire people for the job.
Yeah. Standards have gotten lax.
The standards have really gotten lax.
Yeah.
My police academy, we had maybe 600 people apply. Our last police academy now with Wilmington, I think they had maybe like 60.
Yeah. They don't get the applicants anymore.
No.
Nobody does.
And you have to pick from that few people.
Yeah.
There's always something. You're going to fail the polygraph. I've
Yeah.
seen people go through a polygraph 3 times.
Yeah.
They fail, and they still put them through.
Yeah.
And you know that things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them on both ends, whether defending them as the FOP rep, or having to go through their appeal board and say, look, you are fired. You uphold the conviction as far as the appeal board because they just did something wrong.
Yeah.
And it's a fireable offense as far as especially dishonesty. You can't lie.
Yeah. For
Can't
sure.
lie. No, can't lie. But yeah, just getting back to the message as far as young police officer, do the job. It's a great job. You'll make a lot of friends. You'll lose a lot of friends too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a great career for me. I enjoyed it. I would not want to go back today.
Yeah.
If I go back in the future, I would do it.
Yeah.
But today, absolutely not.
I agree with you.
Yeah. It's too tough.
It's definitely a lot different than it used to be.
Yeah.
Even just in my time, it's a lot different. Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard you mention that you retired. You had a medical retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think of it about it as a medical retirement.
Yeah.
You're retired.
Yeah.
Whether you retired and left early, whether it's a medical retirement,
Yeah.
you did your time.
I put my time in. Yeah.
You put your time in.
Yeah. 19 years was a good run.
Absolutely. That's a long career.
19
Absolutely.
years was a good run.
Yeah.
man.
When I left with 23 years, I knew my time was coming.
Yeah.
It's not that I wanted to leave. It's that there was another opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I had a tough time with transition. I still have a tough time with transition with certain things, but I wasn't expecting to leave. So it was like, well, shit, what do I do now when I grow up? You know what I mean? Like you got to figure
What are you
it
gonna
out.
do? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cause I didn't prepare for it.
Yeah.
Obviously. And that's why I always suggest it to young guys starting out. It was like, find something else you have interest in because
Right.
you might be here 20 years. You might be here a year. You don't know when it's going to end. So,
I
like,
always
have something else.
admired the fire department because
Yeah.
every firefighter in Wilmington, they have a second career.
Yeah.
Even when they're working
Yeah.
for the fire department,
Yeah.
they're doing tile work, they're doing plumbing,
Yeah. They have side stuff.
they're doing painting, right? Grass cutting, and they're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Yeah. I never did any of that shit. I just did
No,
cop shit every day.
right. You work at your jobs every time,
Yep,
right? Yeah.
paid jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all I
yeah.
did. So that's always my recommendation to guys is like find something else that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Because you might need that.
Yeah.
So but yeah.
But that's my advice to them. My advice to you is keep doing this.
Yeah.
Keep getting the word out. Try and have as many people as you can.
I appreciate it. Man.
Because this is a good thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
And for you, especially you going through what you experienced,
yeah.
people have to hear that.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. It's like I said earlier, it's tough to get cops on here. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story.
It's been a pleasure.
Some of the stuff about your career. It's been great to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, dude.
Thank you.